Hello class, today we are looking at graphing lines from equations and from points. So the first thing you need to do, the essential question is, how do I graph lines from an equation? Your learning intention, I'm learning to graph lines from equations. So you've got 3 warm-up questions. Pause the video and see if you can do the warm-up questions on your own, please. Well, I hope you tried. So we know that the formula for your slope is the change in y over the change in x. That's what that little triangle stands for. That's delta y over delta x, the change in y over the change in x. So the first thing you have to do is to identify x and y. Create that fraction bar. -5 minus -16 over 4 minus -3. Even though those are negative numbers, you still have to subtract. We know we do not subtract, but we add the opposite. -15 plus 16 is 11. 4 plus 3 is 7. 11 over 7 is our slope. Okay, the second one is in standard form, that ax plus by is equal to c form. For the formula for finding your slope, the opposite of a divided by b. So a and b, what's a, what's b? A is 7, that's the coefficient of x. B is -5, that's the coefficient of y. The opposite of 7 divided by a -5. 7 divided by a -5 is -7/5. The opposite of -7/5 is +7/5, and we are done. Were you able to use the quadratic formula successfully? First step is to identify what? Identify A, B, and C. A is 3, B is 7, and C is -6. Now we find what? We find our discriminant, and we take the square root of our discriminant. Seven squared minus 4 times 3 times -6. Put that in a calculator. What do you get? 121 is correct. The square root of 121 is positive or -11. Now let's finish using our formula. The opposite of b. B is 7. The opposite is -7. First time we add 11 over 2a. 2 times 3. -7 plus 11 is +4 over 6. And that simplifies to 2 over 3. We do the same thing again, except we have to subtract now. -7 minus 11 divided by 2 times 3. -18 over 6, and we end up with -3. Those are your 2 zeros. Those are the 2 spots where it crosses the x-axis and y is equal to 0. Okay, do you remember how to graph? we're going to graph all three of these on the same Cartesian plane. Pause the video and identify the point -5, 3 and the point 5, -4 on your Cartesian plane. -5, +3 is right here. +5, -4 is right here. And we're going to draw that line through both of them. Okay, for the next two, they are in that form y equals mx plus b. B stands for where you begin. M stands for how you move. So on the first one, where do we begin? -4. That is that point 0, -4. 0, -4. How do I move? So it's 2, it's actually 2 over 1, which means I go up 2, I go right 1. Starting at the point we've identified. Go up 1, 2, right 1, and there is our second line. For our last line, is it ready to go? Am I ready to identify my b and my slope? No, because this is -2y. So I have to divide by -2 the whole way across. -2 divided by -2 is 1. So I've got y equals 3 divided by -2 is -3 over 2 x. -6 divided by -2 is +3. Where do I begin? At 3. That point is 0, 3. 0, 1, 2, 3. How do I move? -3 over 2. That means down 3, right 2. Down 1, 2, 3, right 1, 2. There's our second point, and we are ready to draw that line. Hopefully that's not too confusing for you. So let's go to the next page. If you're still confused, back up the video and watch the first part again. Okay, the next two are in what we call the point slope form. The point slope form is y minus y sub 1 is equal to m times x minus x sub 1. X sub 1 and y sub 1 are a point on the line. So if we're looking, what is the slope? The slope is 1/3. That means I go up 1 and I go right 3. But where do I start? Remember, when you're looking at this, you need to think the opposite. Okay, the opposite of +2 is -2. The opposite of -5 is +5. So this is the point we can begin on. It's the point that is on the line. -2, +5. I go up 1 and right 3. From here, up 1, right 1, 2, 3. There is a second point. I am ready to graph. Can you change it into y-intercept form and then graph it from there? Yes. But in this case, you're going to have 1/3 times 2 is a fraction 2/3. You will not have that nice integer to be able to start with. So it might be more helpful to do it the way I've just shown you. For the next one, is it ready to go? No, because I've got a 2 here. That means I need to divide both sides by 2. Y minus 5 is equal to 8 divided by 2 is 4, parentheses, x plus 2. Now I'm ready to graph. What is my slope? 4. That means I go up 4 and I go right 1. What is a point on the line? Thinking opposite. The opposite of positive 2 is negative 2. The opposite of negative 5 is positive 5. Both of these start at the same spot for us. Now I'm going to go up from here, 1, 2, 3, 4, go right 1. Draw my line, and I'm done. So when we're working in the point slope form, you know the slope immediately, and then you think opposite to find a point that's on the line. So for the last two, these are what we call standard form. Now, when we're in standard form, one of the things we can do, if it's going to be a good even division, is to find the x and y intercepts. The x-intercept is where y is equal to 0. The y-intercept is where x is equal to 0. So I take a minute and I look at my numbers. 3 and 2. Do both of those divide evenly into 12? Yes. So I'm going to start with finding my y-intercept. That's where x is equal to 0. So 3 times 0 plus 2y is 12. 2y is 12. Y is equal to 6. There's my first point. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. For the x-intercept, y is equal to 0. So 3x plus 2 times 0 is equal to 12. 3x is equal to 12. X is equal to 4. So the other point will be 4, 0. 1, 2, 3, 4, 0. Draw your line. And you're done. Okay, for the next one, this is almost as simple, just to subtract 9x from both sides and change it into that y-intercept form. But we want you to get practice of finding the slope and then finding a point on the line. So for my slope, it is the opposite of a over b. We know that it's the opposite. A is 9, b is 1. So we've got a slope of negative 9 over 1. So that is down 9 and then right 1. But where can I begin? Well, it's easiest just to put a 0 in for x. So 9 times 0 plus y is equal to 4. Y is equal to 4. So this is the point 0, 4. I have a point, I have a slope, now I'm ready to go. I go down 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9. Here's 9 and I go over 1. That is a very steep slope. Okay, now, what do you need to know to be able to graph a line from an equation? Well, the slope and a point, or what else can I have? Two points. But it doesn't matter where the 2 points are that they do have to be on your linear equation, an answer to the linear equation. So, how do you know when you're successful? You know when you're successful when you can graph lines from different linear equations. We've got the standard form, y-intercept form, and point-slope form. So I am graphing equations, graphing lines from equations. Now, if you're still struggling trying to find the slope of a line, you need to get more help. So go into Delta Math, look up finding slope from points, and do some of the problems there.